The scrapped trash taste special. Yeah. That seems about right. So with the scrapped trash taste special, we already talked about it on Trash Taste, but now that the year's over, Rip Kendo special, like a few people have asked me why we decided to scrap the special, why we haven't released it in terms of like behind the scenes content, and what was like even wrong with it. And I don't know if we expanded on that on Trash Taste, other than saying just we were not happy with the final product and we didn't want to like release it. Put the Kendo special on Patreon. We've considered putting this Kendo special on Patreon, but there's a reason we haven't. And the reason we haven't is because we don't want to spoil it for our Patreons or for our patrons in case we decide to redo it, basically. You guys talked about it. Okay, Connor talked about it in more details. If you weren't in Connor's stream, basically, like, I feel like we just weren't given enough time. In most of our specials, we are given an entire day to film, at least. The cooking special, I believe we got in at like 9 a.m. sharp, and it took the entire day, and we ended the day at about 7 p.m. The Trash Taste Kendo special, we were given about 3 hours, and that includes setup. So setup for the shoot. So because people think about just the day we're on camera, you don't see what goes on off camera. You don't see people setting up shots. You don't see setting up how things work. You don't see planning how things are going to look. There's a lot of cameramen, right? And it's not just turn on the camera, things look good, Only 3 hours, yeah. So you don't know, like, it's not just that, like, we have to like mic up, we have to make sure all the cameras working, we have to test all the equipment, because I've been on enough shoots where there's a camera not working, or audio isn't recording, or something like that, or the plug, like, all it takes is just like one mic that's not properly plugged in. We have to properly make sure that all the equipment is properly working, the shots are properly set up, and that takes at least an hour. Just like getting the cameramen, like, with cameras on like on the stabilizers and everything like that, getting everyone properly mic'd up, testing that everything works, that takes like at least an hour for like a Trash Taste special at least. And then on top of that, we got to set up every scene, right? So for example, with the cooking special, let's take the cooking special for example. So you got the cooking special, right? So we got to set up the judges table, and we've got to set up where the camera's got to go for the judges table. We've got to set up the lighting for the judges table. We've got to make sure that, everyone looks okay. And that's just the judges table. And then on top of that, we've got to have multiple cameras for when we're learning how to do the dishes. We've got to make sure there's enough space for the cameras. We've got to make sure we know where the cameramen are. We've got to set up GoPros to give us different angles and everything like that. That's the amount of work that goes on off screen that you guys don't see. Because what you guys just see is us just cutting to another camera. But even us cutting to another camera, just like, it extrapolates the workload, just because just adding another camera shot and another camera angle means that it's another piece of equipment we need to worry about. So, rant alert, this is a rant alert. So, what happened with the Kendo special is that we were not given enough time, and it was basically just us doing Kendo without any banter at all. And we feel like what makes Trash Taste is the banter between the three of us. We could be doing X activity, but what makes watching X activity fun is us getting to banter over it. Is us competing but getting to banter over it afterwards. Dub over it. We can't dub over banter. We can dub over this we do dub over it. We could dub over this happened here and this happened there, but like in the moment, there is nothing that could replace just banter in the moment. And because we were not given the time to properly film the Trash Taste special, what we filmed was us doing Kendo and us learning Kendo, and then us quickly competing over Kendo. What we didn't film was us talking, like, at all. I think we filmed like one scene of us talking, and the rest of it was just like the teacher teaching us, and then us learning in complete silence, and then just us doing Kendo in complete silence. So, like, there's only so much that voiceover can save, and unfortunately we couldn't save it without having what we feel is the core of what makes trash taste. Yeah, that's why we didn't release it. So now you know. I don't know if Connor talked about it in as much of a detail as I did, but yeah, that's the reason why we didn't release the Kendo special. So sorry about that long rant. Sorry about that long rant. But we learned a lot. We like by failing, we learned a lot. Moving on. Trash taste almost died. I mean, sorry.